Good morning and welcome to today's class. For yoga props today, the only thing that I think you'll really enjoy having is a blanket. And we'll use it actually to get started. So we'll start in a cross-legged seated position. And if you're feeling at all like it's a bit of a struggle to stay upright, then you can go ahead and sit up on your blanket. So wherever you're at, on blanket or on your mat, lifting up nice and tall, palms facing up on the knees. Inhale to lengthen, and exhale, softly close the eyes. We'll take a few moments here, just starting to feel that quiet in the body, and quiet all around you. If there isn't actual quiet all around you, then allow those sounds to fade into the distance like white noise. So it's just there, but not bothering us at all. Then begin to feel gratitude. So the best way I have found to do that is just to think, almost rapid fire, one thing after another that you're grateful for. Take a few moments here. If you're particularly grateful for one thing, maybe pause on that one thing. And then carry on more and more things that you're grateful for. It will really set the day right for you, get you off to a good start. Start to notice how that affects you physically once you feel one thing that you're grateful for after another, after another. Do you feel a little bit taller? Lengthen through the spine. A little bit lighter. And with that feeling of gratitude, slowly blink the eyes open and we'll get started. From here, leaning over onto the left hand, extend your right arm out, up, and over for a nice good morning stretch. Not too much, especially at first before we're warmed up. Just find your edge, not pushing past it, and take a few moments here. Scoop the belly in, float the arm all the way up, and drift up and over to the other side. So leaning over onto the other hand, left arm reaches up and over, same thing again. So not too much, just a gentle stretch, waking the body up. Scoop the belly in, floating all the way up and over, one more round. Right arm goes up and over, maybe a little bit deeper, maybe not. So not pushing anything. Scoop the belly in, come on all the way up, and same thing, second side. Up and over, gentle stretch. Scoop the belly in, floating up to neutral. From here, lean over onto that left hand once again, but this time extend your right arm and we'll do some arm circles for the shoulder. So reaching your arm back a little bit, but keep the shoulders stuck in space. So that right arm reaches back, finding your edge, and when you find that edge, making a circle. So we're finding our edge, our biggest circle, but don't worry about how big it is. So up, over, nice and slow, just finding the edge, making the biggest circle we can. Nice and slow, 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 slow. And again, reaching out, even back a little, Maybe it's a little bit bigger circle this time, not trying too hard. Just finding your edge, not pushing it all past that edge. And all the way around. Again, reaching out. Maybe smoothing out that circle. Those first couple can feel a little bit more like octagons. Trying to find smoothness and roundness in the movement. All the way over and around. Last time, reaching out, even back a little bit, all the way over and around. Belly scoops in as you float all the way up to neutral and head into the other side, leaning over onto that other arm. The left arm extends out, so just as much care and attention to the second side, reaching back a little bit. And when you can't move back anymore, we move up, all the way over. So we slow it right down for that first one. And around. Notice the different locations of the shoulder we feel the stretch. So as we move the arm out and back, we feel the stretch in the front of the shoulder. We reach the arm up and over, we feel it underneath the shoulder. And as we move around, we feel the back of the shoulder. And again, so number 3, smoothing out the circle. Reaching out, back, up and over, and around. And then last time, nice and smooth. Reaching out and back, all the way over and around. Belly scoops in, come on all the way up. From here, interlace the fingers behind your back. So it'll look like this, but behind your back. I'll just adjust so you can see. So interlacing the fingers. And then from here, we'll straighten through the arms as much as they'll allow. So if you've got fairly tight shoulders, or sometimes if your shoulders are quite strong even, and you haven't done much stretching, it'll be a struggle to straighten through the arms. Maybe they straighten, maybe they don't. Also, if your shoulders are quite broad, then it'll be a little bit more challenging. If you're able to straighten through the arms, maybe the palms stay together, but maybe they don't, so it doesn't matter. All we're doing is looking for a shoulder stretch. So if you're not feeling a stretch, straighten a little more, and lifting the arms up away from the back is where we want to move the hands, as much as available. And then a couple deep breaths here. And release. Let's get moving. Coming forward onto hands and knees. We'll head into that first downward facing dog of the day. Double check first that the hands are slightly wider than shoulders width apart for nice healthy shoulder alignment. We tuck the toes under, hips press up and back to a big V. Take your time in that first downward facing dog, maybe even walking it out a little bit. Feeling that length in the backs of the legs. And then send the feet forward, all the way to the top of your mat, and land in a forward fold so the feet are parallel. We allow the neck to hang, softening through the entire back, including the neck. If it's a big stretch here, a little bend to the knees. Even if you're quite flexible normally, sometimes first thing in the morning, things are just a little bit tighter, so allow for that. Not feeling any frustration. Not worrying about if your toes are pedicured. We close the eyes because we don't care. That's what we tell ourselves in this moment because it's all about the yoga right now. This particular pose is doing a couple different things. One,
is actually lengthening the entire backside of the body all at one time. And the other thing it's doing is we're reversing blood flow to the head. It makes us a little more alert for the rest of our day. To come out, belly scoops in as we ragdoll one vertebra at a time. This is such a good movement. It helps to lengthen through the back body, creating that full range of motion in our spine. Making our way all the way up to standing. Heading into a few sun salutations to get warmed up, especially in the morning. Sun salutations are just a beautiful thing. We'll perform today's sun salutation A. So standing up at the top of your mat, heels and toes together, wide across the collarbones, fingers together, and fingertips reaching down towards the floor. Belly scoops in, not rigid. There's a little bit of softness to the belly. We're not standing at attention like a soldier. We're standing up tall, so energetic but not rigid. Lifting up tall through the crown of the head. Inhale, raise your arms way up high. We'll pause here for that first one. I like to interlace the fingers here and then start to straighten through the arms. I feel a really great shoulder stretch here. Then, in this same arm position, release the interlacement of the fingers. Sure, that's a word. And bring, you can't see my hands, but the palms are together, fingers together. This is more challenging. This is where we warm up the shoulders. So if you need to step the arms apart, shoulder width or even wider, no problem. If you have no shoulder issues, everything feels great, try to get those palms all the way together and reach up high to the sky. So Urdhva Hastasana, hands up pose. This is a great shoulder warmer-upper. One more inhale to lengthen here. There should be a small fire in the shoulders right now. And then gliding forward, Uttanasana to your standing forward bend pose. We're not here long this time. Inhaling, look up to the horizon for flat back. And release. Heading into our first plank of the day, bend the knees. Take a moment here. I feel a big hip stretch here, actually. Knees are bent, and I'm trying to get my hands flat on the floor. Sometimes they make it, sometimes they don't. But I feel it in the hips. You might feel it in the wrists or the ankles. Just take notice of where you're feeling that stretch. No judgment, doesn't matter. And then step it back to plank. So strong plank, belly scoops in. For my first plank, I like to keep the knees lowered for a modified plank. Wherever you're at, hold plank. Scoop the belly in. Make it about the core. So firing up your core first thing in the morning, your core is your center. That's your willpower. That's the part that's going to stand up for you all day long for the rest of your day. Breathing deep. We talked about we don't want to be rigid in Tadasana mountain pose, but here, scoop it in, pull it in, wake up your core. Then lower in Chaturanga. For extra challenge, keep those legs straight. Otherwise, knees lower, and then we hover, hold, hold, hold. And then release all the way down. Totally relax. Then we point the toes and peel the chest off the floor for Cobra. That first Cobra, let's just do it more of a back strengthener than a stretcher. So no hands. And then point the toes. Let's squeeze the legs together, use the glutes. And then shoulders down away from the ears. Couple deep breaths. Pointing those toes. Squeeze the legs together. You'll feel the glutes activated. And release. From here, belly scoops in, push the floor away to press the hips up and back to downward facing dog. Or a child's pose if you want to wake up a little slower. So it's your choice. Take your pick and pause for a few deep breaths. That's 1. 2. 3. 4. And 5. Send the feet forward all the way to the top. Inhaling for flat back. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale all the way up, reaching up high, getting just a little bit taller than before. And release to a tall mountain. And again, inhale, arms go up, flowing just a little bit faster. On the exhale, gliding forward, nice and smooth. On the inhale, looking up to the horizon for flat back. And exhale down, bend the knees, plant the hands, send those feet back to a strong plank. Keep the belly in. Scoop it in even more for chaturanga. Inhaling for cobra or upward facing dog, whatever's in your practice today. Taking a few moments to really open up through the shoulders. And exhale, downward facing dog or child's pose. For 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Send the feet forward all the way to the top, inhaling for flat back. Exhale, forward fold. On the inhale, come on all the way up, reaching up high, getting a little bit taller than before. And release to a tall mountain, last round. Inhale, arms go up. Exhale, gliding forward, nice and smooth. Inhale for flat back. Exhale down, heading back through plank. And lower chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or up dog, wide open shoulders. And exhale, downward facing dog for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Send the feet forward, inhaling for flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale all the way up, reaching up high, a little bit taller than the last time. And release to mountain. And we'll get into the heart of our practice this morning. Inhale, arms go up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, down, back through plank. And lower. Inhale up. And exhale down. From here, we'll take a 3-legged down dog. Right leg reaches to the sky. Taking a moment here, feel length in the back of the supporting leg and energy through the top leg. Right foot steps forward behind the right wrist, preparing for warrior 1. Back heel spins down to the ground and come on up. Taking a few moments in warrior 1. So this one is a great hip opener. Breathing deep, so not too much of a stretch. It's already 3, 4, and 5. I notice for me when I'm doing yoga in the morning, my warriors are not as wide, and that's okay. It's morning yoga. We open up to warrior two. So again, adjusting for time of day, just how your body feels. More than anything, it's how your body feels. But typically in the morning, it's just not as loosey-goosey, and that's okay. We want to open things up in our yoga practice. Reaching, lengthening, belly scooping in but not rigid. Breathing deep, feeling stretching maybe in the hips. Strengthen the glutes, shoulders down away from the ears. It's already 4 and 5, heading into side angle. So if you want a little bit of extra support, place the forearm on the knee and extend the other arm along the top ear. Same thing again, feeling that stretch. Ujjita Parsvakonasana, side angle. From here, either hold or head into a bind. I like to do that first thing in the morning. So for an additional 5 deep breaths, we bind. And then we slowly come on up. Preparing for Ujjita Trikonasana, triangle pose. This is too wide of a stance for our triangle, so we just kind of scooch the feet a little bit closer together, but same position. So right toes pointing towards the front of your mat, left toes tipping in just slightly. From here, both legs stay straight. Reaching, and then place some weight onto that supporting leg, just not on the knee. So if you're not very flexible, it's above the knee, top arm high to the sky. This is one of the things that we tend to forget to do, is actually put a little weight into that bottom leg. It supports the back. So especially first thing in the morning, you don't want to do anything to make your back angry. Keep good relations with your back and scoop the belly in. So not rigid, but it's definitely scooped in, also to protect the back. Even though we're sideways, shoulders are away from the ears. To come out, belly scoops in all the way up. From here, some options. If you're looking for extra challenge, we'll take a vinyasa. Otherwise, from lunge, step it back to downward dog or child's pose. If you're looking for that vinyasa, stepping it back to plank, lowering chaturanga. Inhaling up and exhaling. We'll all meet together in downward facing dog for the second side. So we start with our 3-legged, left leg reaches to the sky. Taking a moment to feel the length in the top leg and energy, while lengthening in that stretch of the bottom leg as the heel lowers down towards the floor. Preparing for Virabhadrasana, 1 warrior, 1 left foot steps forward, back heel spins down to the ground, and we come on up, warrior 1. So it's just interesting to notice that first thing in the morning, we're just not as flexible. It's a really good opportunity to practice non-judgment for yourself, right? This is how we get better. It's already 4 and 5. Opening up to warrior 2. And we'll just sort of shuffle the feet to your warrior 2 position and shoulders down. For 1, belly scoops in. For 2, 3, 4, and 5. Ujjita Parsvakonasana, side angle. So same thing again, our modification that first one, because we're gently opening up through the body. And for the second half, we bind. we come on up. Preparing for Utthita Trikonasana, triangle pose. So shortening up the stance a little bit. And then the legs are super duper straight. Reaching, lengthening. And then we tip. Remember to place a bit of weight onto that supporting leg. Breathing deep. And we scoop the belly in to come on all the way up. And windmill the arms down through lunge. Remembering your options, so step it back to child's pose or down dog, or for extra challenge, we'll take a vinyasa. Stepping the front foot back to plank, lowering chaturanga. Inhaling up. And exhaling, downward facing dog. From here, taking a three-legged down dog, right leg reaches to the sky. Again, feeling that length in the back of that supporting leg as the heel lowers down towards the floor. The top leg is feeling energy. From here, right foot steps forward, way forward. Back knee lowers down to your mat, or if you like, a blanket or something squishy. Preparing for Anjaneyasana low lunge pose. Arms go up. Taking a few moments to stretch here. I love this stretch so much. Breathing deep. And then we head into low lunge with a twist. So bring the hands to heart center, cross the left elbow over the front knee, and then hands to heart center eventually. But more importantly, lengthening through the spine. Want a nice neutral spine as we twist. And we slowly, slowly release. From here, optional, head into gecko. So leaning forward, forward, forward. Pop those back toes off the floor. Find those toes with the opposite hand if available. If that doesn't work, try the same hand. If that doesn't work, try a yoga strap. Or just wait. There is the alternative. This is just stretching the quadriceps of the back leg. You could lay down onto your right side and then bend the top knee. That's always an alternative if gecko just doesn't feel quite right for you. This is one I love to do first thing in the morning. It's also the one that's probably the most noticeable, the tightest. First thing in the morning. Which is why I like to hold the longest. To release, move slow, 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 slow. Same options always. So either head right back into child's pose or downward dog, or for extra challenge, heading back through plank, lowering chaturanga. Inhale up, and exhale, downward facing dog. Let's take a moment between sides to square everything up. And then we'll prepare for the left, starting with our three-legged. Left leg reaches to the sky. Feeling length as the bottom heel gently lowers down. And strength as the top leg reaches for the sky. Then we step that left foot forward, preparing for our low lunge pose. Maybe shifting your blanket. And shifting that weight forward, forward, forward. Forward and down. Arms go up.
And then low lunge pose with a twist. Hands to heart center. And crossing the right elbow over the left knee. I like to release the hands so you get a better twist. Lengthening through the spine first, then we twist. And slowly, slowly release, heading into gecko, or whatever version you did on that first side. Just make sure we match sides. Take your time. This one's quite a doozy, so be even more gentle with this one. And then slowly, slowly release. Same options again. So either child's pose or downward dog, or for extra challenge, stepping it back to plank. Lowering chaturanga. Inhaling up, wide shoulders. And exhale, downward dog. And then gently lower all the way to seated. So through hands and knees, and then down to seated. And then laying all the way down onto your back. We'll prepare for either bridge pose or upward facing bow, whatever's in your practice this morning. So we lay back. And if you're heading into bridge pose, feet are parallel. Actually, either variation, feet are parallel. And just slightly wider than hips width apart. Arms along your sides, palms facing down for bridge or for full wheel, or upward facing bow, it's actually called. But it's often referred to as full wheel. We place the hands beneath the shoulders, not the neck. Okay, so do whatever's in your practice this morning. Then, either variation, pressing up, and we hold. And then we slowly, slowly lower all the way down. Take a moment with neutral spine. And when you feel ready, hug the knees in, Apanasana. I love that pose, especially first thing in the morning. It's a big one. From here, we'll head into twisted roots, a nice spinal twist. For this one, I like to have the blanket beneath my hips. So if you need your blanket, you can adjust. I'm just going to see if I can discreetly. Nothing I do is discreet, let's be honest. All right, for twisted roots, arms out to the sides, palms facing down. Bend the knees in, right leg crosses all the way over left, and then we want to shift the hips to the right as the knees move down to the left, but keep that right shoulder glued to the earth. Really important for the health and safety of both your back and your shoulder. Few deep breaths here. And just knowing that movements in our spine, like the spinal twisting that we're doing this morning, and a little bit of back bending that we're doing with our bridge pose or upward facing bow, and even cobra, is really good for our nervous system. So it gets us with better reaction times. If
if we have to go driving at all this morning. It just makes you more alert in general. And then we scoop the belly in, press the belly down into the floor, low back presses down into the floor. And then we unravel, unwind, and square everything up. Between sides, I like to take an Apanasana just to release the hips and the spine. And then prepare for the second side. Our legs are already bent, crossing left over right. This time, hips shift to the left as the knees move to the right. Keep that left shoulder on the floor. Keep it on the floor. Don't want to pop up off the floor. Don't let it. And then we scoop the belly in, press the low back into the floor as we unravel and unwind. Square everything up, and then hug the knees in again. Apanasana. We're preparing for a final pose of the day, Amanda Balasana, Happy Baby. So clasping onto the outer edges of the feet, or if you can't reach, just clasping onto the shins. And then trying to get the soles of the feet directly facing the ceiling. Draw the knees down towards the floor, but try to keep the tailbone on the floor. Our back tends to curve and round in this posture. Don't let it. Keep the spine long, even closing the eyes. Feel the stretch in the hips. If you're not feeling a stretch, draw the knees downward. And release. One last time, Apanasana. Hug those knees in. Maybe a little rock side to side. And then we'll prepare for Shavasana, final resting pose. So if your back needs a little extra support this morning, keep those knees bent with the feet on the floor and allow the knees to tip in towards each other. If the back feels all right for you, extend the legs. And either way, palms facing up along your sides. And then close the eyes. Taking our final moments to rest and relax before we move on to the rest of our day. This pose is so important for so many reasons. One of them being it creates muscle memory, which we definitely want to do if we take the time to do a yoga practice. We want to be sure we reap all of the benefits. But it also gives your body an actual chance to rest and recoup before you begin your day. One of the things that's really nice to try to do is to find that point of meditation. So in our Shavasana, see if you can be as relaxed as possible without falling asleep. In this space in your mind, you may even start dreaming a little bit, but you're not asleep, so don't let yourself fall asleep, but feel completely relaxed. So this is where the magic happens. This is where we really retain all the information and all that muscle memory. Softening everything, but especially through the neck and the shoulders and all the way down the arms. Letting the fingers softly curl. Softening through the face. Softening around the eyes. Even the muscle between the eyes. Just letting it all go.
starting to come back. Wiggle the fingers and the toes. And gently roll your head from side to side. Then reaching your arms above head on the floor, give yourself a big stretch like you're waking up first thing in the morning. Feeling totally refreshed. Then bend your knees in one at a time and gently roll over to the right side, pausing there for a few moments as you come back. And slowly start to press yourself all the way up. Take your time to a comfortable seated position. And when you arrive, palms facing up on the knees, inhale, sitting up tall, and exhale, softly close the eyes. Taking those final moments to remember the things you are grateful for. Taking an extra few moments to feel that gratitude again, setting the pace for your day, setting the intention for your day. Slowly open the eyes. Namaste, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me this morning, and I'll see you next time for a really good rest of your day.